Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I am Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Boys from County Hell. Streaming now on Shudder. Yes, joining me tonight is my co-host Jeff Mohr. Jeff, sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad this wasn't what I thought. For some reason, I was thinking county jail, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's a prison flick. But no.
No.
Well, I wasn't thinking that sounds like a prison flick. It sounds.
It's not what it sounds like. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Also joining this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. Crystal, how you doing?
Good. Okay, am I in focus? Oh, there I am. I'm
Perfect.
great. I'm typically I love vampire movies. Did I love this one?
We'll find out. That's
We'll
what we're here
see.
for. All right, rounding out the crew is the one and only Dave Dreher. How you doing, Dave?
Yay!
And my enormously large head. Look at the size of the noggin on that guy. Good Lord.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Does that make you feel better?
I was like, it doesn't look that big to me. Looks about right.
I always think of that So I Married an Axe Murderer movie where the guy says, "You look like an orange on a toothpick."
Why are you doing that? All right, what we're going to do is we're going to review Boys from County Hell, streaming on Shudder, and then we're going to start off with our first impressions, and then we're going to give some chatter about it. We're going to talk about it. Then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our final thoughts. No, our favorite scene. I'll get this right one of these days, guys. All right, what film are we talking about? Boys from County Hell, available on Shudder beginning April 22nd, 2021. Meaning streaming now. Directed by Chris Baugh. Written Baugh. Yes.
Yeah.
You hit them all.
Written by Chris and Brendan Mullin. The cast includes Jack Rowan, Nigel O'Neill, Louisa, Harland, Michael Hough. I would assume. John Lynch. We've said that name a couple times this year. Frey Fee and Morgan C. Jones. The synopsis: a crew of hardy road workers, led by a bickering father and son, must survive the night when they accidentally awaken an ancient Irish vampire. That's the most amazing thing ever. Tagline is: hard work never killed anyone until now. All right, well, let's get things going, and I kind of like how it's set up. Dave, you're first. What was your first impression of Boys from County Hell?
Well, I had no idea. This is an oddly titled film because it really does. You would not know that it's a vampire movie. You really wouldn't. I wasn't sure what I was walking into here, but I actually ended up enjoying this quite a bit. I loved the opening scene with our two codgers sitting there in the front room. I like that. I like that a lot. This had kind of at times it had kind of a Shaun of the Dead vibe a little bit, but just with the banter back and forth. Also had a little bit of oh my God, why can't I remember the name of the werewolf movie? John Landis, come on, American Werewolf in London.
London, yes.
A little bit of that vibe.
Well, don't they mention it too? Yeah, or something like the Moors. They mentioned
Moors.
They mentioned the Moors. And the artwork, the way that the Stoker Inn kind of had the same artwork as the Slaughtered Lamb.
Lamb.
Yeah, so it felt a little comfortable, a little familiar. Yet they didn't rip it off. It was just kind of there, like a gentle nod. Some of the brogue was hard to go. This is one of those situations where maybe a little subtitling might not have hurt a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I caught everything.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Dave. I'm just going to interrupt for a second. I went back to try to watch it again, and you know what? It had subtitles.
Oh, really?
What?
Did it?
Yeah, the streaming site never has subtitles, but this one had a CC at the bottom too.
Ah,
and I was like,
I missed that.
Oh.
Because I was actually kind of
okay.
curious. It seemed kind of witty, and I was actually kind of curious, what they were saying sometimes. I had a feeling that it might have actually been funny. but
Yes.
I couldn't make it out. So but yeah, overall first impression was I was pleasantly surprised. I loved the beastie in this. I thought he was very well realized. So yeah, first impression is I liked it.
You liked it. Hey, Mikey.
I liked it.
All right. Up next is Crystal Cleveland. What was your first impression of Boys from County Hill?
Okay, so here's the thing. Vampire movies are my favorite.
Yes.
However, if I were to judge this as a vampire movie, I would hate it.
No.
But because I think the vampires are far too zombie-like for my taste. But that's just me. I like, a more traditional vampire. If you're going to stake it through the heart, it better die. That is all. However, if I were to kind of look at it as more of a zombie type movie, which I kind of feel like it is, in a way, they don't speak vampire at all to me, other than the fact that which I will say is a cool point, how they like draw the blood from people. Mm-hmm. I think that's very cool. So if I look at it that way, I really did enjoy it. I liked it. But I had to get over that because I was like, oh, wait, what? No. Oh, well, okay. I'm going to get over that and not put my own bias on the movie. And I enjoyed it. It was funny. The characters were well developed. The father-son relationship was tumultuous and funny. And, oh, my God, there were some funny moments between them. Actually, the dad kind of reminded me of my own father. So that was funny. Yeah, so I found it entertaining. And I found some of the effects really good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's nice. Speaking of the heart. Just like that. It was actually really simple at its core, too. And I like that it had a little roundabout and comes back to almost the same place. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. Just don't go looking for any sort of traditional vampire movie. Because that's not what this is. Yeah.
All right, Jeff Mohr, you're up next. What is your first impression of Boys from County Hill?
I'm in the same boat as Dave, and I felt like I hope I'm not the only one that had a little trouble understanding the dialect, and I also hope I'm not the only one that didn't figure out that it had closed captions, which I didn't notice until after I watched the movie.
No.
And it is much funnier with the titles on. Although, even with the subtitles on, there were some that said, shouting unintelligibly or indistinctly shouting or something like that. And I thought even the guys with the subtitles couldn't figure out what they were saying. So anyway,
that's amazing.
I enjoyed it. I kind of like the characters. I love the little, when they take them out to the cairn in the field at the beginning.
Yes.
That whole setup. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, and I liked that it was different, and the idea that that character that they were talking about, kind of making a big deal about how that Bram Stoker stole this idea that Abertac is a real legend. That's a real thing, or a real folktale. So I find that kind of cool that they played off that and built kind of a new mythology, and then they were kind of going through that. How do we do this? Does this work? Does that work? So
yeah, but they kind of played on the fact that it wasn't a traditional vampire, because they made a big deal about waiting for sunrise to come, and then nothing happened. The guy's like, "Oh shit, it didn't do nothing."
Anyway, so
that was funny. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll stop.
All right, so this was it's hard to walk into this film because the title of it is so off-putting. It doesn't. I don't think the title helps the movie because you don't know what to expect.
Well, what's the? I don't mean to interrupt you, Doc, but what is even? I don't. Do they even mention County Hell?
I don't know.
They never. The name of the town wasn't County Hell.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I'm wondering if it isn't sort of a playoff of Irish saying, we're from County Cork or something like that. Only
it must be. It's probably lost in translation, like you're suggesting. Yeah, so I think I'm really in Crystal's court here. I really had a hard time warming up to this version of the vampire. I was a little confused about what we were trying to watch. It had moments, I liked the one guy on the stick and trying to figure it out, and then again and again and again, and there are really some really good moments. I did like our leads, even the one that doesn't stick around long, but I didn't warm up to this one as much as I thought I would. I thought I would really get into this, but I think I may have fell victim wanting something a little more traditional as far as the vampires go. I think I really, really did. I think it succeeds when it really gets crazy and wacky and goes over the top. I really started enjoying like the scenes. Like I said, I love all the scenes in the house with our the guy that we like. What is his name again? John Lynch. He was in another film we reviewed. I loved the whole scenes with him and getting in the car. And anyway, there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. But in the end, I enjoyed it. It was fine, but it didn't win me over.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
If
I had not been able to let go of my preconceived notions, I don't think I would have enjoyed it either. Because I immediately, like, when the dude had his heart, I don't know why it's funny to me. He's got the heart hanging out the back. I was like, it's cool looking though. How do I feel about that? Like, literally went through this. I was like, it's not a normal vampire. Why isn't he dead? Okay. And I guess I was in the mindset to be able to do that, because sometimes I can't. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, I liked how they kind of came around back to that though, and gave it a little explanation, and that maybe that it started to win me over then, but then it lost me again. So I don't know. Somebody jump in here and tell me why I'm so terribly wrong. Jeff Mohr.
No, don't think you are actually.
I don't either.
It's a personal thing.
It's a fair. Mm-hmm.
It's a little. I liked what it was going for, and I enjoyed watching it, but I feel like it missed the bullseye a little bit. Like, I guess I can't tell you exactly why. Maybe I got to watch it before I say it's not as humorous as I wanted. I got to watch it again with the closed captions.
Now that I know they're there, I want to watch it again too. So I might have to do that. I did like our lead though, Jack Rowan. I thought I didn't like him at first though. That's the thing. Like when they were at the bar. Right. And going out to I didn't really care for any of them, to be honest with you. But I grew to like him quite a bit, especially the more he was with his father. Right?
Yeah,
the two of them were really, and the girl,
right.
Louisa Harland as Claire. I liked her being a part of it as well. So, and yeah, they were my favorites. I really liked them.
Yeah,
so
I liked all the actors, so that was good for me. Yeah.
Did the gore win you over, Dave? Is that what because you really liked this movie? So was it the gore? Was it the gore, man?
The gore was good. I like Crystal mentioned the fact that how the blood, the trails would kind of lead to where the vampire was, and I thought that was an interesting idea.
It's creative, yeah.
That was pretty well realized. I think it worked pretty well. The guy on the stick, of course, is anybody who watches this, that's what they're going to talk about. He's in the background, kind of inching his way up and stuff.
That's hilarious! Oh my god!
And so it worked. It wasn't overly gratuitous. It wasn't. I wouldn't say this is a blood-soaked movie. There's blood in it, but it's not a gore fest, I don't think.
Yeah, the old couple at the beginning are pretty much bleeding out.
Yeah. and it definitely grabs your attention right away. But it was really good the way they did it, because at first it's just a couple drops in her teacup, and then and then the dude's bleeding out of the eyes, and you're like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? And then they just kind of cut away. We have to wait a while to find out what's going on. But yeah, I think it worked, and I liked the creature too. What's the name of the creature? I already forgot what you said.
Abertac.
Abertac. Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good.
Oh,
he was kind of creepy looking. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. Overall, I think the effects serviced the film well, and they were well done.
Somebody else have anything to say about it?
He looked like that. Actually, the way he looked, it looked like that black skull that they that he found
Yeah.
to come out of that guy.
Yeah.
You know, was that
So at
same
first I thought,
patina kind of.
yeah, well, when you look at the poster, and again, you kind of went into it not knowing it was a vampire movie, it kind of looked like one of the Wrong Turn dudes, like more of a cannibal hillbilly kind of guy, you know? And I was like, oh, again, what the hell were we going into? So I was kind of surprised to find out that it was, you're right, Crystal. I'm not even sure we can even call this a vampire movie. It's their take on a vampire legend, I guess, huh?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're definitely more zombie. They're zombies to me.
Well, he's
practically,
sucking it
other
out
than
of
the
them,
fact
yeah.
that they suck blood. Yeah,
I like it when he
but
was,
they're clearly not there mentally at all. It doesn't
Right.
seem like there's any sort of like master servant type leader, or and then it's not even a person that changes them. It's the stones. So
Right.
it's not.
They do-
It's hard to call this a vampire movie.
I mean, they do have a little intelligence, though, because when they're trying to lure him in to behead him, he
And then
won't
he
walk
stops.
through the door. Yeah, he won't come through the door.
Right.
So you know something's going on. So there is an intelligence there. So again, it's kind of confusing. You're not really sure what you're dealing with.
yeah, I like when he was walking through the town and he stops, in the alleyway and gets that one boy, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just all the blood gushing down, kind of dripping down the street. I like the concept of how, kind of like, he doesn't actually bite people, right? It kind of
Right,
draws the
right.
blood out of him, and I
Right.
like that. I would have liked, I don't know, the gorehound in me wanted to see it just kind of like gush out all at once, but it was still good. I like
the whole. I like the whole. I don't even know if I want to call it an arc, but was his name Charlie, the old guy that was sort of the night watchman? I think
Yes.
cop?
that gets got towards the beginning.
Oh, okay, that one. Yeah. Because the cop was kind of funny. I mean, because they all get, well, you'll see. All throughout the town.
Yeah.
I was really mesmerized by all the Irish landscape, all the
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
Ireland is
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, very, very beautiful. Yeah.
and the town. It was just making me want to go there so much.
Let's do it. Road trip.
Road trip.
Oh yeah.
I loved how they when those they start out in that tavern and those two tourists come hiking in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, suppose they're Germans. Nah, Germans aren't stupid enough to come look at a pile of rocks.
Oh man, but that poor guy started crying. That was funny. I was actually kind of not getting it until they played the prank, and then I started warming up. But yeah, I think there's a lot here for people.
Yeah, he runs and hides behind his girl. Yeah.
I think people are going to like it more than I did. I don't know. Maybe I needed better popcorn or something.
Well, like I said, I think it's totally going to be on your expectations. I think that it's hard. I wouldn't call this a vampire movie to anyone that I wanted to like it. I'd be like, it's like zombie.
It's a
Zombie.
creature feature.
Mm-hmm.
They're creatures.
Well, it does make an effort to be unique. So
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
good work on
Yeah.
that. Good work on that.
It's shot well and it's funny, and
Yeah. Yeah, if I was just to call it competent, that would be a disservice because it's actually far better than that. It's actually really well made. It deserves to be on Shudder and to be enjoyed.
Yep.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up and give our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But before we do, we have a couple things to share with you. One is that we are teaming up with Play Now Media, and our episodes of Decades of Horror, the classic era, will show up on their
Yay.
channel, the classic sci-fi movie channel. It's a mouthful. But you will be able to see the video episodes of our podcast on that channel, which will be available on Roku and
That's
Fire
awesome.
TV and online and on various other outlets throughout. And they have other channels as well. And we'll be sharing more and more about this as the weeks go on. But it is just something new coming along now. When you hear this, it won't be long before you'll be able to do it. I think it's online already, but soon it'll be available on your Fire Sticks and your Roku. So that is
Yeah,
awesome.
we are very excited.
Yes, it's incredible. Kind of cool stuff. So look for that. We also, want to thank you for hanging out with us. If you're still listening, thank you. If you want to help, hit the subscribe button down below or share with a friend. That'll do so much for us, and we appreciate it. You can hit the like button, the dislike button, and we'd love to hear your comments. You can tell me how wrong I am when you see this, or maybe how right. We also want to thank our patrons.
I don't think you're wrong.
There you go. I'm not right, but I'm not wrong. We also want to thank our patrons over at Patreon who, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do not only the Gruesome Magazine podcast, but Horror News Radio, Decades of Horror, and Heroes and Droids, a lot of podcasts we do each and every weekday. So check them out. We hope you're enjoying them, and we want to thank the patrons for making it possible. All right, let's wrap this up with our final thoughts, our score, and our favorite scene. Dave Dreher, sir, you are first.
All right, so find a new title. That's the first thing. That's what they got to do with this. Other than that, though, I kind of enjoyed this. I'm going to go back and watch it with the closed caption, Jeff, because I really do feel I missed a lot. But I liked it. I don't really have too much to add from what I said, as we discussed it. And I don't want to give away everything. I'm going to give it a 3. So a little better than average. And my favorite scene, and I don't know why this is my favorite scene, but it just kind of made me chuckle a little bit. But it's when they're what is it? What?
I'm like, watch it be the same scene as me. Okay, no, that's all.
I don't think so. This is kind of an odd one. I'd be surprised if anyone else picked this. But it's when they're trying to rebury the thing. They try dirt, and then they put the rocks on top of it, and nothing really seems to be working. And then all of a sudden, this weird leg comes shooting out. And the guy goes, "What the fuck is that?" They all run like hell.
The foot from the grave.
Yeah.
The foot from the grave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it was. I knew it. I was like, wait, it's going to be the same one. See?
Yeah.
It was. I died when that thing came.
Just there we all this shit they've been going through, and this leg comes out. The guy literally goes, "Whose fucking foot is that?" It was funny.
See? Yeah, you did take
so,
it.
Awesome.
That's my 2
That's
cents.
cool.
2 cents. All right, Crystal, if you can handle it, what's your final thoughts? Your score and favorite scene.
So funny, because I was like, when that foot came up, and the way it looked, and it was like, anyway, okay, I'm giving it a 3 as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what of course. I definitely think you should watch it. I mean, it's on Shudder, and you guys have Shudder, so you've got to check it out. But just go into it with expectations of something different in a horror movie or in a vampire movie. And I think you'll be fine with that. Then I guess, there's quite a few scenes. I do think, we talked about that. I don't care. It's got to be the heart. It's got to be the heart. Because really, when I saw it, and I was like, really, his whole heart came out like that? It's really funny, and it's really ridiculous. And the way the dude acts with it, it's hilarious. It's silly. So
that whole scene just really works. And when they grab it and they push him into the pit. Oh, man. Awesome stuff.
The way they look at him.
That is a great scene. That is a great scene. It's a highlight of the movie, I would say. All right, Jeff Mohr, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
Well, I'm going to give this a little benefit of the doubt because of the fact I watched like maybe the first 15 minutes with closed captions, and I was thinking it was funnier than what I originally thought. So I'm going to give it a little benefit of the doubt, give it a 3.25, and I'm going to go back and watch it, and then if I don't agree, I'll I don't know. It still gets a 3.25, I guess. I'll go back and edit it. No. Because I just think it's a fun group of guys. I like the father son bickering, and then when it gets right down to it, what that develops into. I guess I like the idea of trying to come up with this, make use of this other legend and I don't know, little comments with those tourists. She's talking about Dracula by Bram Stoker, and the guy says, "Oh, so you think it's worth a read, huh?" they like live supposedly where this whole book was started. Anyway, yeah, and the idea of this different vampire legend. So, my favorite scene is, I'm going to say, I think maybe Dave mentioned it, but when the creature is pulling himself up climbing up the thing. I just thought that was, hadn't seen that before. I enjoyed
picking
that.
various elements of the same scene. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So as I've already said, I got extraordinarily hung up on the fact that I didn't like the kind of vampire they were doing. There were elements of it I liked, but not the whole. And I need to give the film a fair shake. And now that I know that it does actually have closed captioning, I might do it, because I also had a hard time at first. I think I fell into it eventually, but at first I don't know if I understood half what they were saying, but which is a lot of the case with UK films as well when they get heavy bros. But there's a lot I like about this stuff. The entire scene you guys picked as your favorite scene throughout, and some other ones. Anytime that they really got into it and went over the top with the humor, I think it really, really worked, and the cast was up to snuff to handle that. And actually, I thought they excelled when they did that. So, but ultimately, the film didn't win me over. Ironically, I'm giving it a 2.75, so I'm not really that far off. And yeah, it's on Shudder, so you really should give it a shot. It's worth watching, even if you end up feeling like I do, where you're slightly underwhelmed. You still are going to have a good time. My favorite scene is when they're at the Baugh house with John Lynch and William and the mom, and we find out the secret of what happened to Billy after he died, and they're trying to figure out what to do and everything. I just like that whole scene when comes running down the hallway, and it just nothing works out the way they want it to, and it's total chaos and silly, and they end up stealing the keys and going out to the thing, but then they don't. And it's like Abbott and Costello meet the vampires in Ireland.
Yes,
it was hilarious. So I really, the slapstick comedy part of it that took, and the guy that has the thing through it, that's the part I enjoyed the most. And it doesn't reach for that level all the time, but when it does, I think I really enjoyed it. So there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
That's it.
All right, so that's our review for Boys from County Hell. It is streaming now on Shudder. Check it out. Leave some comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. Crystal,
Yes.
Jeff, Dave, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
This is fun.
Yes, it was.
Always is.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh.
Good night, everybody.